Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Susie. Today's video is going to be a thrift flip video where I take items that I have thrifted or found and upcycle them to sell in my retail booth. I am so over this hot weather and I'm going to be doing a fall reset in my booth in a couple of weeks. So all today's thrift flips are fall inspired, and you'll probably see a lot of that in the upcoming weeks. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for watching. So for our first fall flip of the day, I have had this owl in my booth for a while. He's really heavy, he's really big, but his red eyes were very creepy. So I'm going to give him a couple coats of some white paint. This is just a mixture of a bunch of white paints that I have. Paint is so expensive nowadays. I basically am just using what I have, and hopefully it will last. So I finally got his red eyes covered, and I had to even use a detail brush to get into all his little crevices. And I am going to use some dark wax over him. I'm a little afraid of dark wax, so I'm just gonna go for it and fill in all his detail with some dark wax and then wipe it back. I absolutely love the way he turned out. He is perfect for fall and getting closer to the spooky season. What do you guys think about my owl now? Before we get to the next flip, I want to show you guys a new product that I have been using. Amazon sent me this cordless hot glue gun. I've really been needing one for a while, so I was happy to have it. And this one comes with a little stand that you can sit it on. I've already got it charged up, and it doesn't take a very long time to heat up. They also sent with this several glue sticks. They do work pretty well. I'll probably stick with my Gorilla Glue sticks for the more heavy duty things, but these work really nice, and there's even some colored and some glitter ones. I've been using this for a while now, and if you are looking for, basically an inexpensive cordless glue gun, I suggest this one. It is working great so far, and thanks Amazon for sending me this product. It's really useful. So convenient to be able to carry anywhere in the house. I'll leave a link in the description below if you guys are interested in this cordless glue gun. On to our second flip. Now, I really messed this one up. If y'all remember these cute little round frames with Holly Hobby inside of them that I thrifted for 50 cents, I tried to lighten her up and it just didn't work. The bleach method did not work. So I painted the frames in white and the insides with an orange and stamped them from the Fruitful Harvest, some leaves with the Fruitful Harvest. And then I hated it. I didn't like the way it looked. So I decided to heavily distress the frames, and they distressed super easy. And then I decided I hated the orange, so I cut out some round with some drop cloth and just stamped the drop cloth with the same stamps from the Fruitful Harvest stamps, just some little leaves out of it. All of the pumpkins were too big for my little frames, or I would have used some of them. So then I just used some spray adhesive to adhese the drop cloth rounds to the orange frames, or the little wooden things that go in the frames. And that did look a lot better once I got them in the frames, but then I decided I shouldn't have even painted the frames at all, so I actually ended up sanding every bit of the paint off of the frames and going back natural. Once I did that, it was just a little bit scratched and needed just some refreshing, so I just used some oil to freshen up the frames where I had kind of scratched them when I was sanding them. And so now I am back to natural, and it would have been so much easier just to do this drop cloth to begin with. But y'all know me, I always have to do things the hard way, or the way that takes me a lot longer. But sometimes your vision for things that you see in your head, when you actually do them, they don't turn out the way that you think they should have, and you just have to regroup. Sometimes you start all the way over, and that's just what I did here. So I do like the way that they turned out. Y'all let me know what you think. Did I mess up by taking all the paint off? What would you have done in this situation? I found these wooden cats at a thrift store in Gulf Shores, and they were really cute. They like sit on the side of the table. I knew I wasn't going to leave them wood, and I painted them white a few weeks ago, and I was like, I don't know. I forgot about, spooky season coming up, so I decided to paint black over the white and then distress the edges. And I love how the white peeks through, as well as some of the wood color when I distress these. After I got all the edges distressed, I'm going to use the Magic Antiquing Wax over the black. The black is nice, but there's just something miraculous that happens when you put this antiquing wax over black paint. It looks chocolate right now, but once you get it all rubbed and buffed in, it just does this amazing thing to black paint where it makes it so really upscale and nice looking. So I got everything all waxed, and one of my most favorite things about fall and Christmas and that time of year is buffalo check patterns. So I'm just going to put a little bow around the neck of each of these cats and call them done, and they are just so precious and so perfect for the upcoming season. have been hanging on to these two cutting boards for quite some time. I think I got them both at the thrift store for $1 or a couple dollars each. So I'm going to fall them up today. I'm going to paint both of them in some white paint. I think this is Drop Cloth by Dixie Belle. It is a chalk paint. So once I get them both painted, I'm going to do a little bit different technique on each of them. For the first one, I am going to seal it in with some polyacrylic first of all, and then I am going to go to my Silhouette Cameo, and I'm going to pick a cute little fall themed transfer that I can put on there and print that out with my silhouette, or cut that out with my silhouette, and then place it directly on this larger cutting board. And then I'm just going to embellish it up with a few fall leaves and pine cones. I think a pumpkin's probably going to be too big for it, but if you don't have a cutting machine, you can always choose other ways of writing words on here. Stencils are great. A lot of times I will make a stencil with my cutting machine, but it's fairly easy to find, even at Walmart, just some basic stencils that you can do. And I just prefer the black and white over trying to do a bunch of colors. So this one's just a Farm Fresh with some pumpkins on an old truck. And these transfers work just like the IOD transfers. Basically, you rub them until they stick, and they come right off on your project. For the smaller cutting board, I'm going to decoupage some of these cute napkins with sunflowers and pumpkins on them. I think I got these at Hobby Lobby. So when you decoupage with napkins, you want to pull the layers apart and use just the smallest layer. And then I'm just going to use Mod Podge and go over the top. And I am going to put a even layer of Mod Podge over the whole thing. And then I'm just going to lay the napkin out over it, hanging off all the edges, and rub it in easy because you don't want to tear your napkin. And then once all that dries, I did another layer of Mod Podge over the top. And then once all that has completely dried, the easiest way to cut off the edges is to just sand them off. Not only does it distress it and make it look nice and distressed, it does a little like a tear rather than just a straight cut. And so I'm just going to get all this excess cut off here, and then I'm going to go with some more dark wax. And here's where this stuff scares me. I felt like the colors were just really bright, and I wanted to make them a little more aged and antiquing look. So I just took some dark wax and did it over the top of the napkin, and it looks okay, but it's still really scary putting that dark wax over something that you just worked pretty hard on. But I just went ahead and put dark wax all over this, and then also embellish this one just a little bit where that's just a cute little shelf sitter now for fall. At the last minute, I decided to stamp the word fall with the IOD typesetting stamps and some IOD permanent ink. I think this little cutting board turned out really good, and I'm looking forward to using this napkin to decoupage a lot more for fall. I have saved my favorite flip for last. I'm embarrassed to tell y'all how long I have had these metal tins in my stash. I'm going to guess 2 years or so on the silver one. The square one I haven't had as long. So I'm so excited to finally get something done with these. And I have been dying to use the sunflower molds. So that's what we're going to go for here. Just remember to cornstarch your molds so that your IOD clay does not stick in. And these are so easy to use. I have this sped up, but it's just so easy. You just press your clay in there, use that micro rim to clean up all the edges, and these have some really awesome detail in these molds. And I'm just going to put the big sunflower on the rectangle tin, and I'm going to do the smaller one on the round one. And then once overnight, I let the clay dry, and I'm going to end up putting 2 coats of Dixie Belle drop cloth all over both of the tins. It did take 2 coats, and it covered perfectly with those 2 coats. Once it dried, I also sealed them both in with some clear wax, and the reason I did that is because I am again going to use some dark wax over these molds, and I knew if I put the clear wax on first, I would have a little bit more control over the dark wax. So we're going to get these painted up, and then we're going to dark wax just over the sunflowers. And these are my favorite flip of this video. I love how they turned out. I don't think I'm going to sell them, but I don't know where I'm going to use them yet. But I love how they look. This part was so much fun. I started out very carefully with a detail brush. I didn't want to get anywhere on the canister other than the sunflowers, but I did get a little better at it as time went on, and I just put the dark wax all over all of the flour and then went back with a paper towel, wiped off any excess, and look how gorgeous it makes this flower look. I repeated the process for both canisters, and I am in love with these. What do y'all think about how these turned out? And what do you think about this technique of dark wax over the mold? I think this may be one of my favorite things that I've ever done. I hope that y'all have enjoyed my fall inspired thrift flips today. I'm getting ready to do a reset of my booth, so you'll see a lot more of these in the upcoming weeks. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you have a great night, and I will see you again next week.